to Wake Up West Palm, where we talk all things downtown West Palm Beach, and you get to meet some of the incredible businesses and people in our beautiful community. And today I am joined by Kristl Story. She is the CEO and owner of West Palm Beach Food Tours. Kristl, thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
I'm very excited. So first of all, we're in a different location. Well, we're always in a different location, but it's kind of a different feel because we're standing up in this kitchen. So tell us where we are.
We are at Ganache Bakery, which is actually a stop on one of our food tours, because every stop on a food tour is part of the story. So everything they eat, every place we take them. When we come to Ganache, we enjoy a coconut cutting demonstration, and our guests learn how we got the name Palm Beach, which goes back to coconuts. I mean, everything has a purpose. We talk about how we got our street names downtown, one of which is tamarind. They taste tamarind juice. And then we finish up with the best key lime pie they've ever had. And the history of the key lime pie goes back to Henry Flagler. So that, in a nutshell, really explains what a food tour is, that everything has a purpose and a story. Locals love it, visitors love it. You learn as much as you eat. That's what it's all about.
I love that. Learning and eating. Two things everyone can appreciate.
And having fun. We make it fun. It's not like your high school history. It's fun history.
Well, when food is involved, it's always got to be fun. And it's so funny because I feel like we're doing like a baking challenge or something. Like we need to get some mixers in here and bake something. And that's one of your passions, is baking.
It is. I always say when I'm not out doing tours, if I have free time, I bake. I mean, I just absolutely love to bake. I find that very therapeutic, relaxing. I am an empty nester, so I do not have all those teenagers to eat my creations, but I live in a condo downtown. We have a lot of staff. We work with amazing restaurants with a lot of staff that take very good care of our food tour guests, so they become like my children. They get a lot of my experiments, but they know me well enough. It's like they'll tell me, oh, that one didn't turn out, or we really liked that one. Gordon at Pistache, I made him some brownies for his birthday. I forever get little texts, brownie time.
Oh my God.
But that makes me feel good. I'm like, okay, they liked them. I'll make them more.
I love that. So it's such a community thing. Now, I know a lot of people, you hear food tour and you can imagine what it is, but I don't think it's the first thing a lot of people think of when they're visiting a new location. So tell us, how do you describe what you do? What do you describe the food tour is?
So it is a full meal. That's probably the biggest misconception. Sometimes we get people, they come to the tour, they've already had a meal because they think they're getting little samples everywhere we go. No. I mean, like, you are full at the end of this tour. Some tastings are larger than others, but by the end of the day, for most people, it's the perfect amount. The other misconception, people sign up, they're like, oh, I like food, this is gonna be fun, I'm gonna eat. And they're like, wow, you eat, you learn, and it's that connection to the area. It's eating something. In our case, we do a lot of South Florida foods. We learn about them, their history, the culture behind it. We meet some of the restaurant owners. We have a couple demonstrations on one of our tours. So it's an experience. It's so much more than just the meal. And I think when people sign up, they're like, they finish it, and it's like, it's way exceeds their expectations. And usually we get them hooked, and then they start taking food tours wherever they travel. But not just for tourists. Locals, sometimes they come, they're bringing their out-of-town guests, thinking my guests are gonna learn a lot, and then they're amazed how much they learn. And then they keep coming. Every time they have house guests, we're like, we're bringing them back. This is a great way to feed them, to entertain them, to let them see and learn about our city.
Yeah, what a unique experience. And I love that you encourage locals to come, because I think a lot of people, we've lived in this community for a long time, a long time, and we still don't know. I mean, I don't know where the names came from all the streets, but now I want to know.
Need to come.
I know. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Book me for the next one. So how did you get into this business? Like, how did you start this?
So we've been in business 9 years, so it's a little over 10 years ago. I took my first food tour, and it was in Austin, Texas. My husband and I had been to Austin a bunch. I always said, we know everything about Austin. Signed us up for this food tour. My husband's like, why are we doing this? We know all the great restaurants. I'm like, I know, but it just sounds fun. It's something different. Let's go do it. And it was on a bike. It was a bicycle food tour. It starts.
It's a great way to, you got to eat some calories and burn the calories at the same time.
This tour starts, we're in a part of Austin that we had no idea existed. We were like in a little neighborhood. And my husband looks at me, he's like, I kind of think we knew the tourist traps. You know, we just knew that one area of Austin where all the tourists go. We really didn't know any of the history. And it was just one of those like magical moments. From that day forward, I don't think I've done like a regular city tour, walking tour for history and culture. We do food tours everywhere we travel. Because like I said, I mean, it's a meal. You go with our tours 5 to 6 restaurants. And if you do it at the beginning of your vacation, you not only get the history and the culture, you're walking, you kind of get the lay of the land, but you also have previewed, 5 to 6 restaurants. So then it gives you time to go back to your favorites. So after Austin, kept taking food tours. Also at a stage in life, I was getting ready to become an empty nester. And I'm like, okay, what's that next career move? And it was my oldest son. He was like, Mom, you keep talking about these food tours. You love these food tours. Nobody's doing it in West Palm. Just do it. I'm like, he's right. Just do it. And I did. I mean, it has been absolutely wonderful.
I love that. Okay, I love that for so many reasons, especially because it was something, that's so adorable that your son pushed you. Because I think a lot of people, we have passions, right? A lot of people have a passion for food or cooking or whatever it is. And most people don't know where to start, how to start, or if it's actually a possibility to make your dream come true that way. And so that's amazing that you said, hey, all right, let's go. And look at where you are 10 years later.
Well, my mom tells people, she said, like when I was little, in school, I would tell people, I want to be a baker, I want to be a travel agent. And then you go to college, and I'm like, okay, travel agents and bakers don't go to college. So did not pursue any of that. But my mom tells her friends, she found her passion. Because to me, a food tour feeds both of those. The baker and me, the travel agent, we meet people from all over the world. It's fun.
That's
fun.
amazing.
Even though we take them to the same restaurants, every day, tell the same stories, it's the people make the difference. And we've just had so many memorable guests.
And you have 4 tours, right?
4 different tours, each one different restaurants, different stories. They're all very unique. And thankfully, usually once people do one tour with us, they come back. And they'll eventually do them all.
Yeah, you were mentioning earlier that you were surprised a little bit that the same people come to the tours.
Yeah, and some of them keep coming on the same tour. We're like, remember, we have other tours, but we like this one so much. You'll like the others too. A good example, we do a tour in the West Palm Beach Green Market called Mornings in the Market. But locals are so funny. They're like, we go to the Green Market all the time, so we won't do that one. And then they'll do the tour, and they're like, totally different experience. I mean, it just gives them, it's like a VIP experience because they meet the vendors, they hear their stories, and it gives them a whole new appreciation for that Green Market and for what those vendors are doing. I mean, so many of those vendors gave up real jobs with benefits to follow their passion, and it shows. It shows. But those stories are so heartwarming.
Yeah.
Makes the food taste better. I'm like, when you know how much love somebody has put into that cookie, you're like, oh my gosh, you just love that cookie. You want to support them even more.
Yeah. Which is amazing, and that's part of the reason why we wanted to do this show, right? To meet the people that are running the businesses in our community, and so it's all these different stories that come together. So, all right, you've got all these different tours. You have people that actually give the tours as well.
Yes.
So why don't you introduce our guest today?
Raheem, wonderful, wonderful tour guide. I am so glad the pandemic actually connected us, thankfully, and he's the face of the food tours. I always say I'm the behind the scenes girl. I'm the organized, detailed, making sure everybody knows. Our guests are like, oh my gosh, you guys share so many details. We are obsessively detailed. We tell the guests where to park, where to meet, what to bring. We remind them. That's what I'm really good at. I'm the producer, and he's the face of the food tour.
There we go.
Kind of her to say.
Raheem, thank you so much for joining us.
Excited to be here.
So how did you guys, you connected during the pandemic, but how did that happen where you thought, okay, this is a match made in heaven and we have to do this?
Well, I've been in this industry for many, many years up in New York City, and the pandemic forced our family to relocate, and we were very happy for the opportunity to come down to West Palm Beach. My wife and I both found jobs, and I was so grateful to have an opportunity to work for another food tour organization, not just another organization, but really one of the best that I've ever been a part of. And the opportunity to learn more about this community, to get a chance to work with someone like Kristl, who's incredibly passionate about this industry, it's just been an incredible fit.
I couldn't tell.
Yes, no, I'm sure she doesn't show it. Absolutely. It's been a great ride so far, though, and I'm very grateful for it. And considering so many people relocated during the pandemic, and obviously there were a lot of negative consequences all throughout the world, but it forced us to kind of change our perspective and come down here, and it's been one of the best moves we've made really in our lives.
I love it.
So,
yeah, so we talked a little bit earlier, you were saying that you were interested to see kind of the opportunities in West Palm, not knowing if they would be the same as in such a big city.
It's a different experience, but different in a wonderful way. First of all, we get a lot of folks here from out of town. The food tours here are very popular. I didn't know quite what to expect when it came to the restaurants. But as I'm sure you know, world-class restaurants here in West Palm Beach, incredible chefs, incredible programs that are going on here, and it's been really exciting to be a part of it. Also, there's a huge demand for tourism and specifically culinary tourism in this area, and we've been really grateful to be a part of it.
So what has surprised you as you're doing these tours? As I'm sure you've done so many of them and you get to meet so many people. Is there kind of something that surprised you?
The biggest surprise, and Kristl mentioned this earlier, we have so many out-of-town guests who come back year after year. They bring back more people every single time, and that's really flattering that people continue to come back. It means we must be doing something right, and the business continues to grow. What I was used to, at least back where I started this in this industry, was you got someone new every single day. You rarely saw the same customers again, whereas I'll see the same folks come every few months. They bring down new family and friends that are in town, and it's special, it really is.
Now both of you have been on TV. You were a guest on Dessert Wars.
Dessert Wars.
And you were on Hell's Kitchen and Cake Boss.
Yes. I had the opportunity to be on both those shows. It was a lot of fun, I'll tell you. Very exciting.
So what was that like?
Well, it's funny, and like what's happening right now, when you see television, on the other side of the screen, you rarely understand what's actually going on behind the scenes. All the producers and the cameramen and all the extra work. It was very cool to be a part of that. It was also really exciting, especially for Hell's Kitchen, getting a chance to meet the contestants. They're going through this exciting experience. I mean, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This is going to make or break their careers, and you get to kind of have a few moments to speak with them intimately, to really understand who they are and what they're passionate about. That was cool, I will say. In the middle of this big experience that they're going through, you had the opportunity to get to know them. And Cake Boss, wow. To get a chance to meet Buddy in person, to taste his incredible cakes, and to be a part of all that fanfare, that was very, very special. It's still the best birthday cake I've ever had.
Really?
Yes, unfortunately my wife's a little upset, but she's comes in a close second to Buddy's incredible birthday cake.
Wait, have you had Kristl's
But I was going to
birthday
say,
cake?
that's because you haven't, Jamal. Ganache hasn't made you a cake yet.
I
got
need
one.
So September's my birthday, all right? If anybody wants to make me a cake, I accept all.
We're going to come back here in
options.
September and do just a bake-off for your birthday.
I love it.
It needs to happen. And how was Dessert Wars?
It was so much. I will say that's like the highlight. I've got my little judge badge. It was kind of a neat way that all came about. But I love desserts. I mean, baking is my passion, and to be able to be a judge, and I didn't think I'd have any problem eating 45 little small bites of dessert. It was more of a challenge than I thought.
Really?
My partner in crime, our other tour guide, Shauna, she's like watching me at those first few bites. She's like, "Don't eat so much, you're never gonna make it." I'm like, "Oh, I'll be fine. And I was like, she's like, "I told you, you shouldn't have eaten that whole bite." But it was just such a wonderful experience to do that. I wish Dessert Wars was coming back this year, but they're not coming to West Palm.
That's all right. Maybe another time. But do you have a favorite dessert to eat or make?
Both. Carrot cake. Really? And I really think my carrot cake's the best. I'm very proud. I perfected that recipe over a lot of years, but my husband, and I taught my husband how to make it because he makes it for my birthday every year.
Aww.
Sometimes it's a little bit of a mess, but it tastes. He's got the taste taste down. Sometimes oftentimes it like starts to lean because he doesn't let it cool enough before he puts the frosting on, but it tastes great. So it's like our little family tradition is
I had no
he has to
idea
bake
Eric
the carrot
did.
cake.
That's awesome.
And yeah, but you know Eric, he's not a cook, he's not a baker, he doesn't do much in the kitchen, but this is like, and he like really struggles every year to get this made, but he does it.
That is
Carrot
beautiful.
cake is one of my favorites as well. So you let Eric know September if he's interested in making another cake.
So you need Jamal to make you a cake, and
Eric as well.
I'll make it so it looks
Everybody
looks a little
make
better.
a cake. We just need all the cakes, all the cakes. And you're a self-proclaimed pizza pilgrim?
Yeah,
What is that exactly?
Someone who travels for pizza, essentially. I love good pizza, and anywhere where I go to visit, I tend to try to find the best pizzerias there and taste as much as I can on the road. Also, here in West Palm, we have some of the best pizzerias you'll find anywhere in Florida. You've got Adrian's up the road, incredible pie. One place I've just recently started to become obsessed with, Pizza Aioli. I don't know if you've ever had it. They have a sourdough-based crust. It's unlike any pizza I've ever had, especially in the area, and they're only available Thursday through Saturday for takeout only. It's like kind of like exclusive pizza experience, which is always a lot of fun. You know, we've got Lenora is always a consistent experience, Hot Pie out here, such great pizzerias. And as you travel a little bit further out in the county, I love Del Rey Pizza, places like Death by Pizza, certainly Rose's Daughter. These are world-class pizzerias that we have just here in our backyard.
Well,
it's
you
really
would know.
special. Well, I eat a lot of it. I don't know if you can tell, but it's my number one, my number one item I eat. I love good pizza.
So you know so much about West Palm Beach. Obviously, you do the food tours. You guys both know so much about the city. Is there something, or what do you feel is a fact, something that you learned in your travels that you love sharing that was surprising to you, or that you think would be surprising to the audience?
I guess one of my favorite stories that I get to share with guests from out of town that was a surprise for me when I first moved here is that coconuts aren't native to the area. And it's a story that we tell on our tour about a shipwreck, a ship called the Providencia that ran aground on a coral reef found just east of Palm Beach. It was full of 20,000 coconuts, and eventually they made their way to shore, and those were the first coconuts that were planted in all of Palm Beach County and really generally all of South Florida and the Palm Beaches. At this point, they're around 150 years old and the oldest in the continental United States. So it's kind of fun to think that they weren't native to the area, but now they're synonymous with our kind of exotic subtropical food culture that we have here.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Isn't that nice? Yeah,
that is cool.
And I'll tell you, we love our coconuts too. So it's hard to believe that they were ever not a part of our food culture here, but been a great addition.
Wow. All right. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I definitely want to go on one of these tours.
We've made you hungry.
I am hungry, and I just have a thirst for knowledge too. I want to know more about our beautiful city. So I'm definitely going to be part of one of your next tours. How can people schedule one of your next tours?
Our website has everything on it. Just westpalmbeachfoodtour.com. You can read details of all 4 of the tours. We've got videos of all 4 of the tours. So you're like, okay, I need to see what this is like. You can really see yourself in that picture. And again, trust me, you come on your first one, you'll be back. You will take them all.
And
you'll do them wherever you travel. Because you haven't done them anywhere, right? No, once we hear it over and over. We ask guests at the beginning, okay, raise your hand if you've been on a food tour before. When we started 9 years ago, rarely anybody, never done this, never done this. Now I'd say about half the people, and they always tell the newbies, they're like, oh, you'll start doing these everywhere you go. Aww. And it does happen. It's the best way to experience any city.
You feel that sense of community. You both are extremely passionate about what you do, which obviously lends itself to even enhance the experience even more. So I'm very excited. I know you're excited too to go on one or to come back. Maybe you've been on 2, 3, 4, 5, who knows? But always come back. Kristl, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Raheem, thank you so much.
You.
I'm very excited to join you on one of your tours.
I can't wait.
It's going to be a blast. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time.